Hey y'all, how you doing? Well, I am hanging in there. I'm hanging in there. If it's your first time here, I want to say welcome, welcome, welcome to Wonderfully Me. And if you are returning, I want to say thank you. I appreciate you, fam. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your time and consideration. Okay? Yeah. So, you know how when we make plans, God laughs? Yeah, laughs. Ha ha ha, like a belly laugh, because how hysterical is it for us to think that we're in control of anything? So last Monday, I came back to y'all and I said, I'm back, I'm back. I'm going to be doing this, that, and the other thing. And, I had all the explanations. It's like guilty with an explanation. Yes, guilty with an explanation. But I also just needed to keep it 100, because that's basically who I am. I mean, nobody's perfect. I'm close. I'm close. Okay. Haven't lost my sense of humor. This is obvious. But anyway, I digress. I just wanted to say that I must have put the camera down and thought I was going about my business only to experience a flare, and I was down. I mean down uh in the bed for days after that video. Yeah, so like I said, while we're trying to make these plans, life has other thoughts in mind. So yeah, uh I am on the comeback trail, and I almost didn't make this video because I should have made it yesterday. So don't mind a little bit of rasp in my voice. Some might say it's a little sexy. I don't know. Anyway, as I told you before, think of this as a podcast until I get my stuff together and can do something decent. But in the meantime, in between time, I'm still want to be posting, right? Okay, so forgive me. That's been said. And there were a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. I feel like I might have talked about one of these things before, which is projection. Okay, so in my former life, I used to be a therapist. And as a solo traveler, I've experienced a lot of what I recognize as projection. Projection is when somebody else takes their fears and puts it on you, or their behaviors and puts it on you. And like, I didn't ask for that. My load is heavy enough. I don't need to carry nothing else. Okay. But as a solo traveler, I get that all the time. It's like, oh, be careful, because, things happen out there and blah. I'm like, listen, I'm a person living in these current United States. So clearly, the issues of things happening happen here too, right? Okay, so let's just move on from that. And I don't know what makes people think that we leave our sensibilities behind, when we take our luggage with us. Like what? So if I could make it in these hidden, NYC streets, then what would make you think I can't make it in the streets of, you know, I don't know, Nairobi or Phuket or I mean, just I've been to, like, I don't know, somewhere around 60 countries ish, and I I'm still in one piece, and nobody took a piece of me yet. They might have took a few dollars, but they ain't took a piece of me yet. So, overall, like, I don't have anything to worry about. I'm a sip. Mm. I mentioned this before. I'm always thirsty. So, um, this water bottle, a water bottle, will be a prop in probably all of my videos, coming moving forward, because I'm always thirsty. And I can't talk for 15, 20 minutes and not have something to drink. Anyway, again, I digress. Okay. And I wanted to address the orange elephant in the room, aka my hoodie. It is like my, let's say my, like Linus had his blanket. You know, some people have a blankie or whatever. It's like that. It is warm and it's soft and uh yeah, I know this is a whole separate subject, but I'm getting back to the other point. Um, I don't want you to think that I've, this is the same day as when I did the other video. It's not. It's not. I have on something different. I didn't show you what I had on underneath before, but I'm just saying I have something different on underneath. But this is like my comfort. It's smooth, it's soft, and I have issues with textures a lot of times. And some things itch and I just don't feel comfortable because my skin is often sore. And so I try to wear things that are soft and smooth, and even like blankets and stuff. Like it has to be smooth and sort of, like velvety, velourish, you know. So anyway, you may see this quite a bit, because I often used to wear my blue sweatshirt, which I love too, because I love a hood. I love a hood. There's a few things I love. I love a potato. I love a sandwich. I love a hood. Okay, it's who I am. It's who I am. I know. I digress again. So getting back to the whole projection thing, yeah, it's like every time I would say I was going somewhere or something was, happening or, planning, oh, I get the whole spiel about something going on. As a matter of fact, there was a time where one of my line sisters was coming to visit me in Tanzania, and somebody like from her church like actually said like I had a vision or a dream or something, and was telling her like that she shouldn't go, and something happened with her daughter's leg, and she was down for a bit, and so they were like, that's like God telling you that you shouldn't go. I was like, now we using God to project, like, really? Anyway, I just want to state for the record that my soror, my line says she came anyway, and when I tell you she had a blast, she had an absolute blast. Okay, so all I'm trying to say is, please keep your projections to yourself. Can something happen? Absolutely. But something can happen anywhere. And life is short, so we might as well be doing the things that we really want to do. So yeah, I wanted to get to that part about the projection. Did I mention the part about this is a podcast? Did I mention that? Yeah, I think I said that already. Yeah, think of this as a podcast, right? Like you just listening to it while you're washing the dishes. Okay, you ain't gotta watch because yeah, that part. So I brought up the whole thing about projection to just kind of reiterate the point of, we all have our own fears, of different things, and worries and concerns or whatever. And a lot of times these things keep us from going where we want to go or doing what we want to do. And that's problematic, because how much living are you doing if you're afraid of a lot of stuff? If you're afraid of the dark, then you may never get up the stairs. You know what I mean? You may never be able to sleep without a light on, or get up and go to the bathroom when you need to, right? Because you're afraid of the dark. I'm just saying, like, come on. Like, it is, I think our journey requires us to experience some discomfort, because no growth happens in your comfort zone. So you gotta have some discomfort. You gotta face some of those fears in life in order to move through them, right? Yeah. So anyway, I wanted to say that, the whole thing about the projection. But I also wanted to talk about, this is leading me up to the travel advisories that this I don't know what I want to call it, but this administration has put on a lot of countries, right? It's like all kind of craziness going on right now. Like people who at international adoptions can't bring their children home because there's a ban. Like what? You think a 12-month-old is gonna do something? I can't. I don't know. I don't know. But my point is, with these travel advisories, you're probably, if you were thinking about going somewhere and doing something, you're probably going to experience an even greater amount of projection because people are going to be like, see, I knew it wasn't safe. Why would you go there? Why would you do that? I don't think you should go now, or you shouldn't go alone, or whatever. Listen, there's always travel advisories out there, period. But I'm gonna tell you that the only place that I experienced anything really negative, like bad, while I was traveling was in Europe. It was in Italy, and I don't hold it against Italy. I still want to see other parts of Italy. I haven't even made it to Tuscany yet. You know, Portofino. I mean, it's just places I haven't seen. Lake Como, Lake Como. There's a lot of stuff I haven't seen. So I'm not holding it against Italy that something happened there. It did. I mean, I'm gonna do my due diligence. But this is a little tight. Remember I was telling you about textures and everything. Everything bothers me. But anyhow, I digress. Getting back to these travel advisories. So these things are in place, have been put in place by this administration for whatever reason. And I'm going to leave it there. Whether justified or unjustified, is they there. Okay? And, probably somebody stood up and said, oh, you shouldn't do this, maybe said something against, the current administration. And now all of a sudden they found themselves on the travel ban. I'm just saying. So if it was me, and often it is me trying to go somewhere and do something, right? I would do my own due diligence, my own research, and I would put things in place that could help to keep me safe. So one of the things is that if you go to travel.gov, you can go to the STEP program. I can't remember what it stands for, fiber fog and all. But it is a way for your government to know where you are going, like what your itinerary is in this country that you're planning to visit. And if something sort of, happens or whatever, they'll have an idea of where you are, where you're supposed to be, or, these kinds of things. So if you feel like that's something that would be helpful, then I suggest you go ahead and try to register for the STEP program wherever you're going. I did it when I was going to Peru. It's the only time I did it. And it wasn't even that I thought that Peru was that bad. It's not even that. But there were, travel advisories. It was serious. It had something up there about like kidnappings and petty theft and something else. So a kidnapping or a carjacking type of thing, that in itself is enough reason for you to, take a little taken aback or whatever. And while I never experienced it myself, I think I've told this story that when I was in Colombia, I met a couple who were telling the story of how they were in Peru and how their bus to Arequipa got hijacked. And I was fascinated. I was like, what? Huh? Yeah. So the bus, they have these, let me say this, the bus system in Peru, unless it's declined over the past few years, it is unmatched. I have never been in a country that had a better bus system. And saying that, I mean that if you want a comfortable, like, VIP sort of bus experience, you can get it. I mean, they served us hot food. We played bingo. It was on Cruz del Sur. I'm imagining it's still in business, but I've been on several other bus lines, Linnea, I think, and yeah, I've been on a few. I can't remember them all, but listen, they served us hot food. We played bingo. They had movies. They gave you a blanket and a pillow like you was on a plane. Like, yeah. So all I'm saying is the bus was good. So anyway, they were on this bus going to Arequipa, and when they got to a certain place in the mountains. I never made it to Arequipa, so I didn't experience this. But they, as they were telling the story, they were in the mountains or something, and apparently, because these buses are tracked by satellite, okay, for safety purposes. This is interesting, right? Anyway, so they were in the mountains, and all of a sudden, bus comes to a halt, and folks board the bus because this is an area where the satellite doesn't work. So you can't even call nobody, tell nobody nothing. So these thieves apparently know this, okay? So they board the bus, guns and everything, yo. Okay. I mean, it's not funny, but it's like, oh snap! I'm telling you, of course, if you were ear hustling and somebody was telling this story, you would be like, well, you know what I'm saying, like leaning in, trying to hear this. So anywho, yeah. So they told everybody to hand over all of their valuables, right? Like so, like jewelry, watches, your money, clearly your money, right? And and then they had them to uh strip down to their underwear. Strip down to their underwear. Yeah, stripped down to their underwear. I don't remember if they said they took the clothes or left the clothes. I can't remember how it went, but they had them stripped down to their underwear. I guess to make sure that people didn't have on a money belt, because oftentimes people have their money belt underneath their clothes or whatever. But yeah, they took everything. But they were nice enough. I don't know if I can say nice enough, but they didn't keep the foreigners' passports. Which, if you've ever traveled, you know that that's something you guard with your life. Like that's your lifeline. Like your way home. Like so, you want your passport. So they were kind enough. I'm not saying they were kind, but they were kind enough that they gave back the passports. So that was really, that was a kind gesture, we'll just say. So the people didn't have to be trying to get in contact with the consulate and get a temporary passport and all this other stuff, right? A replacement. So anywho and anyhow, this caught my attention. Now I know of friends who had their bags, their luggage stolen off of the bus or at the bus station. I think I've told this funny story about me and my friends, but anyway, and there was Robinade involved. We'll discuss Robinade again at a later time if you're new here and you don't know it. But yeah, so anyhows, I am aware that stuff happens. I'm not trying to say that stuff doesn't happen. Of course it does. It didn't happen to me. I think it may be possibly because I'm bigger than the average person, and maybe I had the I wish you would, face on when I'm traveling, because most of the time I do. I look a little mean, a little evil, and but I'm not. I'm so sweet. I'm so nice. I'm kind. Wait. I didn't mean to say I'm nice. I'm kind. I'm not really nice. Like so, you could get all this mouth. I'm coming back at you if you say something flip. But anyway, I digress again. I wanted to put it all in perspective. So I'm not saying that things cannot happen. Oh, it'll never happen. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying bring your sensibilities with you wherever you go, and typically you will be fine. There are some things you can't avoid. Okay, that's just life. But you do your part, your due diligence. You make sure that you are as prepared and as aware of your surroundings as you need to be. Okay. That's my suggestion to everybody. So I'm not saying take the travel advisories lightly. I'm just saying do not allow a travel advisory to be the only thing that dictates whether or not you will have your travel experience, because travel opens you up to a lot of things. And yes, it does make you feel a little vulnerable because you're in a new place and you may be solo. Like I travel solo often. And yeah, you might feel some kind of way, okay, while you're traveling. You may. So all I'm saying is take everything into consideration. Don't let people project onto you. If you do have some fears, do the best that you can to quell those fears. If you feel better having one of these little door alarm things, at in your hotel, get you a little door alarm thing so that you feel like that's okay. If you feel like you want to put a camera in there to make sure nobody's going in and getting your stuff or doing stuff, have a little camera. Technology is amazing, right? It's wonderful. So yeah, do that. I'm not. I'm telling you, take all the precautions that you need, but don't let fear be the dictator as to whether or not you have the experience or not, right? Because you have to determine whether or not that is like warranted fear or projection from others, somebody who may have an ulterior motive for you not wanting you to go or do or whatever. Listen, this is your life and it's up to you to live it the way you see fit. So that's what I wanted to say about travel advisories. I know I done been all around the mountain, literally and figuratively, but I still wanted you to, take this into consideration, if travel is your thing, because, travel it's my lifeline. It is the thing that keeps me sane. And in spite of me having fibromyalgia, which, as I mentioned, this flare up thing that happened, like, listen, it has been taking everything for me to keep my eyes open. Literally, I was like, my mother said, Cuda Brown. I don't know if y'all know about Cuda Brown. Cuda Brown got up, ate, and laid back down. Yes, I'm telling you, my tail be so tired. I'd be like, this is outrageous. Be like, you going? They be like, you going upstairs again? I'm like, yeah. Like, I can't hold my eyes open. I'm so tired, and everything I do takes so much energy. And I think I mentioned to y'all before that if you want to know how I'm doing, you can usually see it in my eyes. Take a look. Take a look. These actually are pretty good eyes. These actually are pretty good eyes. They're not great, but they're pretty good. They're pretty good because I've been in a slump, in a serious slump. I've been struggling. I've been on the struggle bus, like that's where I live. My address. Woo! Parked in Struggle Bus USA. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. So, anywho, go to travel.gov. It might be travel.state.gov. Travel, travel.state. It might be travel.state.gov. I can't remember exactly, but if you put in travel.gov, I promise you, it'll pull up through Google whichever the thing is. I can't remember off the top of my head, but you can go onto the state website, the government website, and you can look and see. Uh, they have a list of all the countries, and you can go right to the country and you can see whatever travel advisories they have in place. And they usually have it with different levels, like color, like I think red being the top, as typical. Red is the stop, but I think they use like yellow, orange, red, if I'm not mistaken, for them to tell you like what level they're at. So keep it in mind. Keep it in mind. Trying to think if there is anything else. The projection, my fibro flare, and yeah, no, I can't. I can't think of anything else. I really wanted to talk about the projection and the travel advisories, and I've done that. So I'm not going to hold you. Listen, that's the saying that like I ain't even gonna hold you. My brother was saying it, and I was like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like we say it like me us. Excuse me. Me saying we say it like we don't want to waste your time. But when they say, I'm not even gonna, I won't even, what is that? I'm not even gonna hold you. They say it like, I'm not even gonna, maybe I'm saying it like that, I'm not even gonna waste your time. Yeah, maybe it's the same. Just, I don't know, just use it in conversation more frequently. I don't know. But I'm not even gonna hold you. Okay? I'm not even gonna hold you. I'm just saying, I appreciate you being here. I am grateful that I was able to make this video. And even though I'm posting it late today, later than I typically like to post, I usually post in the morning. But even though I'm posting it a little late, I'm still here, better late than never. And I was able to hold true to what I said, which was that I was back. That's right. Anyhows. So I just want to say thanks for being here and check me out next week. I'm if I am doing better this week, then I will post something on Friday. We shall see how it goes. But if not, I'll be back with you on Monday with another topic of travel with chronic illnesses. No. But it's wonderfully me. It's still wonderfully me. Okay? So I want you to never forget that it means the world to me that I get to share my world with you. I greatly appreciate you taking the time to listen to what I have to say. And also, as I mentioned before, that doing this does give me purpose, and it gave me a reason to try to shake it off today. All right. And get up here and do something. So thank you for listening. Okay. But I would be remiss if I didn't remind you of what I like to tell you. Okay. Yes, I'm going to repeat it every time because I feel like it's something that we all need to know. Let us all do good and be better. Be a better version of yourself today than you were yesterday, and be an even better version of yourself tomorrow. That's right, okay? Until the next time, ciao for now.